Hello students, welcome to this course on network fundamentals. In this course, we'll be trying to give you basic knowledge about computer networks. This is lesson 1, session 1. The whole syllabi of this computer network fundamentals is divided into different lessons, and each lesson will be further divided into three sessions. So let's start with lesson 1, session 1. What are computer networks? A computer network is an interconnection of two devices, two or more computers that are able to exchange information. A computer may be connected via any data communication link like copper wires or radio links, or you can say microwaves or satellite, or any other way of communication. They may be personal computers or large mainframe computers. The computer network may be located in a room, building, city, computer, or anywhere in the world. Let me highlight this thing for you guys. So basically, it can be a room, building, city, country, or anywhere in the world, right? It can be of any size. Computer networks have opened up an entire frontier in the world of computing called the client-server model, or you can say client-server architecture. Now, these are some of the applications of computer network. First and foremost, communications. That is the main thing for which computer networks is being used. Second is in order to share things. It can be a software, files, information, or any type of data. For sharing hardwares, we can use computer networks. For the security purpose, we can use computer networks. And at last, information preservation is also can be done with the help of computer networks. Now let's discuss some of the applications in further details. Now, what is resource sharing? The goal is to make all programs, equipments, and especially data available to anyone on the network without regard to the physical location of the resource and the user. That means computer networks will be used in order to share resources between two devices. Suppose one device, the sender is at one geographical location and the receiver is at some other geographical location. So if receiver wants to get something from the sender, it can request the sender, and the sender will be sending a response to the receiver. So with this whole process, we can share different resources and can share data irrespective of the physical location of resource and users. So computer networks is making it believable and making it possible in order to share resources irrespective of the geographical location over which different clients are situated. Next comes server and client model or client server architecture. One can imagine a company's information system as consisting of one or more databases and some employees who need to access it remotely. In this model, the data is stored on powerful computers called as servers. Often these are centrally housed and maintained by system administrators. System administrator is also called as network administrators. In contrast to this, the employees have simple machines called as client machines or clients on their desk, using which they access remotely the data which is further kept on the server. Next comes the communication medium. Now, if we talk about communication medium, a computer network can provide a powerful communication medium among employees. One of the example is email, right? With the help of email, in any company, employees generally use this particular virtually every company that has two or more computers now has email, which employees generally use for the great deal of data communication, or if we use any other way of communicating via computer networks can come in this application list. Next comes the e-commerce. It's very important thing which is basically used by every one of us. If you are buying this particular course or if you're watching this particular lesson, in that case you must have ordered something over the internet via any means. It can be through Amazon, it can be through eBay, or it can be some food delivery app. If you are ordering something with the help of your smartphone or your laptops or PCs, in that case you are using e-commerce, a goal that is starting to become very important in business is doing business with consumers over the internet, and it's very prevalent nowadays. If we talk about airlines, bookstores, music vendors, or any commodity that you can even think of is available over the internet, right? You can buy that particular thing with the help of e-commerce websites, and this is providing convenience to the customers to shop from their home and not by going physically to the store to buy something. This sector is expected to grow quickly in the future. Now, what is data communication? Data communication refers to the exchange of data between a source and a receiver via some form of transmission medium. It can be a wire or cable or wireless communication. Data communication is said to be local if communicating devices are in the same building or a similarly restricted geographical area. Otherwise, it's not called as local and it's a global data communication. Now, this diagram shows the 5 components of data communication. First one is sender, the device which is sending data. Next is receiver, who is receiving data. Now, message is that data which is being sent by sender and is received by receiver. Now, what is transmission medium? Via which these two nodes are connected to each other in order to communicate. It can be a wired medium or it can be a wireless medium also. Now, what is protocol? Protocol is a set of rules which is basically used so that sender and receiver can send and receive data without any hassle, and it is used to provide a standardization to the communication. Now let's discuss these components in further detail. Now, what data is? It is the data which is transmitted from one device and will be received in the destination or target device. Thus, the first component in the data communication network is a data or message that needs to be delivered and received. Now we'll discuss what are different forms of data. It can be text, it can be audio, it can be video, it can be image, or it can be combination of these forms also, right? Now, what is sender? A data has to be sent to a destination from a source. This source is called as sender. The device that sends the data to the destination or target is the sender. It can be a computer, cell phone, video camera, and so on, or it can be a router, it can be a gateway, it can be a repeater, hub, or any other communication device. The destination of a transmitted data is the receiver, which receives the data, and it can again also be a computer, cell phone, or any other communicating device. So sender is basically sending the data and receiver is basically receiving the data. Now, what is transmission medium? In data communication network, the transmission medium is the physical path for the data to travel to its destination after being sent by the sender. Receiver receives the data at one end and sender sends from the another end. Now, transmission medium could be like twisted pair cables, coaxial cables, and fiber optic cables. Right? Now, Let's discuss about protocol. Protocol is nothing but a set of rules that applies on the full data communication procedure. This is like an agreement. Now please understand this thing clearly. It is like an agreement between the two devices in order to successfully communicate with each other. For example, what are the things which are basically used, or basically which are embedded into a protocol or in that agreement? So how data will be sent, how data is traveling over the network, how it will be received, or how errors will be handled that comes in while transmission. All these things are basically explained in the protocol or in that agreement. Both devices must follow the same set of rules or protocols so that they can understand each other easily. Now next topic is communication channels in networking. There are three different types of telecommunication and computer networking channels that you need to understand, that is simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Let's study these in further detail. Now what is simplex mode? It allows the sending of information in one direction only. In one direction only, which is similar to a one-way street. Now what is half duplex mode? Information can be sent in both directions, but it doesn't allow both directions to operate at the same time. That means from one direction to another, from one node, let's say a device PC1 and device PC2. It's not necessary that two PCs are connected in order to communicate. These can be router, server or any other device. So PC1 can send data to PC2 and PC2 can send data to PC1. But at a one instant, only one device will be communicating, or only one device will be sending the data. This is the restriction of half duplex mode, which is further removed in case of full duplex. In full duplex, information can flow in both directions, but it is also can operate in both directions at the same time. Right? These three different channel types all have their own ideal uses. One is not necessarily better than the other, but there will always be one that will work better in certain conditions or certain situations. It is essential to know which type to use so that you can implement a strategy that is the most efficient, effective and affordable solution. Now let's discuss these three modes with the help of diagrams. In case of simplex mode, suppose a mainframe device or mainframe computer is sending data, and on the receiving end we are having just monitor and not the whole system. Please understand this thing. So over here monitor is just acting as a imaging device, or you can say is basically used as an output device just to view what exactly mainframe system is sending. Monitor is not allowed to send anything because they are connected in simplex mode. On the other hand, if we talk about half duplex, here we are having two workstations. So workstation, let's name these two. This is workstation 1 and this is workstation 2. Workstation 1 can send data or workstation 2 can send data. Both the directions are operational. But at one instant of time, only one node can send the data. This is the restriction in half duplex mode. Now, if we talk about full duplex mode, both the nodes or both the devices can send data at the same time and both can receive at the same time, right? So there is no restriction in case of full duplex mode. With this, we are come to an end to our lesson 1 session 1. In further lectures, we'll be covering session 2 of lesson 1. Stay tuned to this series guys if you want to cover all the basics of computer fundamentals. Thank you.